and grudges. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, let us build a nation together. Grenada belongs to all of us. We want good for you, and you. But we must come together, understanding the objectives, understanding the vision, understanding the mission, and let us work towards achieving them. We could do it. I want to encourage those on Facebook, as usual, please share the live. Sharing is caring. When you do, you give your colleagues, your friends, the opportunity to be a part of the conversation. Also, those on YouTube, do the same. Sharing is caring. And we want to highlight some of the things that have been happening in Grenada in recent times. And I want to start off tonight by highlighting a feedback from a public servant, a very good friend of mine. I want to highlight that firstly. She speaking to the benefits of the bi-monthly salary. All right? So let us listen to Nursey at this point.
I think it's a great initiative that government's paying the bi-monthly salary. And I look at it both objectively and I look at it realistically. And when I say objectively, I mean it's a new thing for us that we get bi-monthly payments of salary. But we just have to, for me, I readjust to my budgeting strategies and so on, and I'm not a spendthrift, so logically, I will not be irresponsible in how I do my spending, and I will also pay close attention to my needs against my wants. I'm a mother of 5 children, and I also think that these children, they have varying needs. So they do not have where they all have the same need at the same time. With the payment of bi-monthly salary, I now have the opportunity to attend to each of their needs separately at different times, whether it be a medical emergency that they have, or whether it be that they have a situation at school where they have to do a school activity, a school assignments, projects, and so on. Then I do not have to go to lend in a financial institution or borrow from a friend or something, because we now have that bi-monthly payment of salary, and then I can go on to use my own money to go ahead and assist my children where necessary. The bi-monthly payment of salary helps me with my mental health. And in that, I would like to say that it puts me in a position where I do not have to anticipate the long wait for the month end. So now that I know that I have monies coming in every 2 weeks, it makes me comfortable. It put me in a position where I feel comfortable, so I know that I always have monies coming in so that I can take care of my basic needs and help my children. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the government of Grenada for allowing us the opportunity to receive bi-monthly payments of salary to experience it. And I think it's a great initiative, and I'm looking forward to all of the benefits that it will come along with it, whether it be economically for the country and otherwise. I just want to say a special thank you on behalf of me and my children.
Right. Nurse, you did a wonderful job there. And more people are talking about the benefits of bi-monthly salary. So again, kudos, thumbs up, and we continue to highlight the good stuff. Yes, initially I did not put up the bring up the knob, excuse me, bring up the knob here for the audio when I was speaking. So I do apologize for that. And we move now to the Honorable Delma Thomas, who spoke about how important the minimum wage review is. And it's, the whole adjustment is so vital. The Honorable Delma Thomas.
Minimum wage adjustment is very important, especially at this time. After the advent of COVID, we would have seen an increase in the cost of living. And therefore, if we expect people to live within the high cost of living because of the advent of COVID and so, then it is important to look at their wage.
That was Parliamentary Representative for the Tongue of St. Andrew, Northwest, Delma Thomas, addressing minimum wage in the country. According to Thomas, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there was an increase in the cost of living in the country. Thomas indicated that more consultations are in the pipeline on minimum wage.
However, while we talk minimum wage and we're looking at adjustment, I'd also like to make sure that we have much consultation, and I'm happy that you have several consultations already, but we want to have more consultation with the businesses, because they are the ones. So while government will be able to decide that we're going to raise it, let's say, to $1,500 or so and pay it, what you would see in the private sector is that, yes, they will have to go by what is accepted as minimum wage, but the workers will suffer. And when I say the workers will suffer, it means that if you have 20 workers and who are working for $800, and now you're saying that the minimum wage is $1,500, it means that you will see a cut in the wage bill or in the wage numbers.
Thomas says speaking on minimum wage is important and hopeful that better salaries will roll out.
So I'm happy that we are looking at minimum wage. I'm hoping that at the end we will see better salaries for our people. Anything that will improve the life of our people, we applaud it. And so I will applaud anything that will increase. We have some people working for as little as $600 and sometimes $700 in the private sector, and therefore we know that that can even pay bills. So I am happy that we are looking at it, and so I look forward to all the consultations. I look forward to even hearing from the workers and the small business people.
Thomas was speaking at the government recently held town hall meeting in St. Andrews.
Right. So again, that's very good. Very good if you ask me. So the Honorable Delma Thomas, they're really endorsing that move by government, really expressing our appreciation to government for that adjustment and review in the minimum wage of the country, because for how many years? About 12 years, nothing was done in that area. The NDC administration came into power, and again, they decided to look at the minimum wage for workers in the country. That is important, very, very important. It was the NDC who made some adjustments in 2011, and it took the NDC 12 years after to come back and look at the minimum wage again. So the NNP, they were there for 20-something years. They never, ever look at the minimum wage issue for workers. They will not touch that. But the NDC decided to do just that. And that, again, is a promise made and a promise kept, because the NDC promised during the election campaign that they will look at the minimum wage issue in the country, and they are doing so. Series of consultations. In fact, tonight there is a consultation up on the western side of the country. So things are happening, and it augurs well for the working people of the country and for the country generally, because the employers, they too acknowledge that there is a need to bring up the salaries of workers. And once the government pass the laws, then you know things will change instantly. Yes, it may not be all smooth flowing, in the initial stage, but over time it will work out. So thank you, the Honorable Delma Thomas there, continuing to be a patriot for this country. Let us move to Andrew Lewis now, speaking about the industrial climate in Grenada.
President of the Grenada Trades Union Council, Andrew Lewis, says that the heated industrial climate prior to the 2023 general elections has cooled somewhat and may set the tone for the upcoming 2023 Labor Day festivities.
There's absolutely no doubt that the industrial relations climate after the June 22nd election has sort of simmered down. There are issues, yes, there are issues, but it has simmered down. And the mere fact that the current administration, to a large extent, benefited from the industrial toxic relations that were existing over the past 8 or so years, contributed to the victory at the polls.
According to Lewis, before the new administration took office in 2022, government and the unions were at loggerheads over several matters, including the issue regarding the payment of pension to workers, which also took center stage during the 2022 May Day festivities.
We have seen some activities, for instance, the pension has been addressed, right? And remember that over the past, certainly from 2017, in particular, although the pension matter goes way back, but that came to a head in 2016, 2017, and in particular in 2018. And so therefore from 2018 to 2022, the landscape, the industrial relation climate landscape was dominated by that, where all unions, whether the unions had members in the public service or not, focused their attention on that issue. It's all about solidarity. And this matter has been addressed.
No song again. Right. I need to start keeping this song here. Oh boy. Yeah. Uh-huh. No audio. I just always, I would always forget to bring up the volume here. I do apologize for that. I hope we are on the radio, or else I have to call Kim the King to reconnect us.
Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now more than ever we must show discipline, tolerance and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation.
Right. So as I was saying, I would love to see come May Day, come Monday, the workers carrying their placards, right? Carrying their placards and showing displaying what they got, because this new government decided to fulfill their promises to the workers. So I would love to see some placards saying, "Thank you for the dock salaries," or "Keith Mitchell is out, NDC is in, and we received our dock salaries back." I would love to see some placards saying, "We got our pension after all the years of marching in the streets under the NNP. We were marching under the NDC. We received our money, we received our pension and our gratuity." I would love to see that. And I think the Grenadian people will appreciate that. So when you have a struggle, they would stand with you because they will see you as genuine. You were marching, you were protesting for your pension and your gratuity under the NNP. They did not give you. The NDC came into power, and within months, you got your pension and you got your gratuity. Within months, you got the dock salaries back. Within months, the government decided to review minimum wage. Within months, the teachers got the 13% increase with all their fringe benefits. Within months, the TAMCC workers, that whole protest and problem was resolved. They got their $4-point-something million, and an arrangement was entered into for the balance of the money. And we can go on and on with some of the other benefits that the NDC actually brought to the working man and the working woman, which is great. So May Day this year should be different from the previous years of contention, confrontation, melee, struggles and that kind of thing, militancy. It has to be different. That is the only way people will stand in solidarity with the workers if ever down the road they have a need to stand up for something. Because people would say, well, boy, they're genuine. They're genuine because this administration came and fulfilled a number of things for the working man and woman in the country, right? All that they were fighting for, or nearly all. We know the issue of regularization is still on the table. We know the issue of making workers permanent. Those who are temporary are still on the table. We know that, right? I'm not running away from that reality. And I hope that can be addressed in the tenure of the NDC. So we are fully aware of that. The workers who are temporary, I would love to see you made permanent within short order. But everything takes time. The mere fact that the government started the process of fulfilling those promises to you, you can go to sleep knowing that they will fulfill that promise too. The regularization of nurses and teachers and so on, we know that is still pending. So there are still some outstanding things, right? And I know, but you have to be grateful for what they have already given you, what they've already achieved within such a short space of time. So May Day will be a test of whether or not the union leaders are genuine or sincere about the struggle and about what they have received for their workers and about Grenada. And about Grenada, that's important. So we know you still have some concerns. We know you still have some genuine issues to be resolved. In fact, the police, prison, public workers, TAU and the others, they have not yet signed on to the wage increase that is being proposed. They want a little more, okay, but they're negotiating in good faith. Both parties, they will come to a conclusion sometime soon. I would have preferred that they had at least come to some conclusion sooner, but let's see how it goes. They all stated that they were negotiating in good faith, both sides. Let's see how it goes with that. By and large, so far, so good, if you ask me. All right? So let us move along. Quite a number of things. It's always good to remain focused. Let us move to Senator the Honorable Adrian Posuida Thomas. He's doing an excellent job in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Cooperatives, and so on.
I'm so very happy to be part of this project, and this project could not have come at a better time when we are trying to revive the agricultural sector, when we are trying to be as precise as possible in whatever we do in the agricultural sector. No longer will farmers be farming by guess. So this is an excellent project, and I must commend the workers who are part of this project, the extension officers, the agronomists, Mr. Trevor Thompson, who I missed in the Ministry of Agriculture as an employee, but I think the Caribbean is making much better use of him and will be able to capitalize and make maximum use of his service also. So I want to commend he and his team for doing such a fantastic job.
How do you feel having taken an actual sample?
Well, I mean, this is not new to me. Maybe some 30-something years ago, I had the opportunity when I was studying agriculture in Trinidad to be involved in a practical way in doing things of that nature. And my 20 years in the Ministry of Agriculture, although I was dealing with pests and diseases, I had the opportunity to provide a service to the farmers who I contacted with. The farmers will get the answer why his plants are struggling and what fertilizer he needs to apply. So this project is an excellent project at this point in time, and it will guide the agricultural industry in regards to where we want to go and where we want to take it and where it ought to be. Well, agriculture is back. I mean, there is no doubt about it. I mean, I must say that I am very successful, and the ministry is very successful in regards to restoring some level of hope in the farming community. In the agricultural sector. I think people are visiting my office on a regular basis. They want to invest in agriculture, not only on the production level, but they also want to invest in agro-processing. People want to get products out of Grenada in the near future for people to plant soursop like if they're crazy. This is the new goal that we have in Grenada now. We have the black goal, and this is the green goal. The fisheries is developing also, but agriculture is here to stay. And agriculture will move this country where it ought to be. I'm confident.
Right, that was the Honorable Adrian Thomas there. I think he's doing an excellent job in the Ministry of Agriculture. You know, during the NNP time in office, the Minister of Agriculture was Peter David. But boy, oh boy, what has Peter David really done while in agriculture? Well, do you know, and may I say, again, it's a reminder, you can export mangoes to the United States thanks to the Minister of Agriculture and his team there.
The importer in the U.S. need to have an import permit. They need to make arrangement with the irrigation facility, and at present I think there is only one such facility in the U.S. In Mississippi, so that's where it has to go first before it can go onto the market. So it's the lifting on the ban is good, that we have an opening, but it will not be very straightforward as back in 1999. The other thing is that we will have to have discussion with our exporters and so on to brief them on the procedures and the implication. There will have to be inspection from our plant quarantine officers, and there is a whole traceability component to ensure that the mangoes, were inspected by us, and it came from farms that we deem can export the mango. So the fresh produce exporters are the one that will purchase from the farmers, but the ministry will have to do an inspection of some of those fields and also do an inspection of the produce when it's purchased. So after it's purchased and the inspector and the exporters have prepared it, our inspection should not be finding over a certain amount of weevils in the consignment. So that's a critical part of the trade. Inspection by the plant quarantine officers before it's exported. The farmers are expected to do their integrated pest management work on the field, cleaning out fallen mangoes, because the weevil's life cycle continues with mangoes on the ground and so on. So as it is, their field management will have to improve to reduce the chance of weevils being in the mangoes, or reduce the levels that are there. The Ministry of Agriculture role is to ensure that the farmers are doing good agricultural practices and having their integrated pest management programs in place, pruning of the mangoes if they need to fertilize and so on, and harvesting. So these programs and like training as per usual, the farmers will have to be briefed on those for those who may be new. It creates an additional opportunity. There are other markets. Mangoes from Grenada are exported to Trinidad, some to the UK, but these are smaller markets. So the US opportunity will increase, or should increase, the sale of mangoes once the exporters can arrange. And there are a couple of exporters who have been following the protocol and the developments, and have already been calling in. So they are interested in getting back into the export of mangoes. So I can assure that farmers with mangoes can have additional income as we roll out that protocol during the coming mango season.
Wonderful. That's really good there. So agriculture is back. Definitely. Agriculture is back. And we want to commend the Honorable Adrian Persuader Thomas for his hard work in that area. We now move to Carriacou. Remember, there was a big old wreck, a big old boat, pan boat or so, that was preventing a lot of people from having a nice sea bath. And the Honorable Tevin Andrews gave a commitment that they will do everything in their power to remove it from that beach. And finally, it was removed.
One component of the Lauriston Rehabilitation and Restoration Project is completed. The boat, which was washed upon the shore and stuck there for over 10 years, has been removed. This now allows for more bathing space on the Lauriston Beach behind Sands area. The boat's presence denied bathers use of the area closer to the Lauriston Point. The wreckage removal is considered significant since the boat was located within the Sandy Island Oyster Bed Marine Protected Area. Its removal falls under the Enhanced Direct Access Project funded by the Green Climate Fund and the Government of Grenada through the Ministry of Economic Development, Planning, Tourism, ICT, Creative Economy, Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives, and supported by the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and local government. Other components of the project include the construction of sea defenses to protect the area from erosion and also mangrove replanting. Diana Isaac, Public Relations Officer, Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and local government.
Right. So thank you very much. Thank you very much there, Diana Isaac. Thank you very much indeed. So again, the Honorable Tevin Andrews continue to do an excellent job in Carriacou. And remember, that wreck was there for the last 10 years. It was a really big old pan boat there for the last 10 years. Who was in government for the last 10 years? The NNP. And they were not doing anything when it comes to things that would really make a difference for our people. It's not easy to go on the beach, for example, and, elements, particles, parts of chemicals, whatever, from that wreck you know, you coming in contact with that or being affected by that. And that is why I applaud this government. They care about people. They are more about making you better, your environment, your community, your home, your mind. You realize that you're focusing a lot on mental health, right? Your pockets, meaning your money. They're trying to get you to have more, to make sure that you're prosperous, you're better off. This government cares about people. And that is why when Keith Mitchell comes on air and talking rubbish, I start reflecting on the last, 10 years of the NNP being in power and looking at what they really said they would do and what they didn't do for the Grenadian people. And then you go back to the first 13 and a half years, right? It was real stupidness that was happening in Grenada, real problems. And all they were talking about was the poor and the vulnerable. And I told you, the NNP love to keep the people poor and vulnerable, because when they are poor and vulnerable, the NNP benefits from that when the election time comes around, because they go in high numbers and vote for the NNP. Many of them cannot read, many of them cannot write, many of them cannot reason, many of them living in abject poverty, extreme poverty. They believe poverty is normal. They believe poverty is a blessing. And the NNP preyed on that. The NNP took advantage of them, right? And we see it time and time again. But thank God the NDC is here and they are seeking to give a hand up to these people and not a hand out. They are not giving them fish every time they come and beg, but instead they're giving them a line, a hook, and bait to go and fish and feed their families, feed themselves, feed their community. So the NDC is putting people first and caring about the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, which is significant because we are experiencing a new type of governance. We are experiencing a new type of approach when it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to governing the country. And I think we need to be appreciative of that, because under the NNP it was vush, vash, vikey, vike, right? They were whooping straight. The NDC is operating with a plan. The NDC is operating with a plan that will transform Grenada and move Grenada forward. And we must acknowledge that. It is a different situation and in Grenada, and we are loving it. But again, I told you, Keith Mitchell and the NNP will not go to sleep and allow the NDC to peacefully govern. They will not. You see the posts from Nimrod Olive, for example, and you wonder if he's living in Grenada, if he's experiencing what everybody else is experiencing. You see Keith Mitchell parading on television like crazy, and all radio stations and so on. He's up and down the place. And you listen and you ask yourself, but wait, tell me this. With all that's happening in the country, have you heard Keith Mitchell and the NNP coming out and applaud anything? Well, except the Honorable Delma Thomas, who acknowledged some of the good things that the government is doing. And that is what a good representative does. It's not only about opposing, criticizing. It has to be more than that. Grenada belongs to all of us. We want good for our neighbors. We want good for our family members. We want good for our friends. We want good for our people. And if the government is doing some good things, we need to acknowledge that. We need to applaud that. If they're messing up, you could talk about it, Yeah, I'm not talking about you fabricating something and you trying to paint a picture and make people believe that is the case. And that is why I took on Diablo, because I hate when a person who knows better is out there trying to fool the unsuspecting people who just don't know, who don't understand, who need help in understanding certain things. So here you have Diablo out there on TV, on radio, painting a picture as though you, as a Grenadian, going to a bank and taking a loan to enhance your business or to expand your business or to create more employment for our people is a sin, or it's illegal, or it's wrong. That is what Diablo is out there trying to do. So, the Honorable Andy Williams, and Andy Williams has been and continue to be a businessman. I get to know Andy Williams in the hotspot, the Grandance hotspot, where you go and you get things cheaper than the other places. That is how I got to know Andy Williams and the hotspot. And anytime I ask him to help somebody with some food stuff who was in need, he will just say, Kem Jones, come, and I go help you to help them. That is how I know the gentleman, right? But in 2017, the Grandance hotspot went up in flames. That business was destroyed by fire, and he lost over $1 million of items, equipment, and stuff, right? His bank has always been the Grenada Development Bank. That's the bank he does business with. He approached the bank. He put up some of his property as assets. They valued the property and they put a figure to it. He approached the bank in 2018. The NNP was in power during that time. The NNP was in power in 2018. In fact, they won the election in 2018, 2013 and 2018. He was then given the loan of $2,060,423.77. That is the loan he got under the NNP administration through the Grenada Development Bank. But they thought he was an NNP supporter, and they thought they would have been able to get him to run for them or to be on their side. But little do they know. Little do they know. So, Andy Williams, like all the other small and medium-sized businesses, they were affected by COVID-19. They were, because remember, some of those places, they could not have gotten the items, the goods and so on. In some cases, they got sometimes they just didn't have, it was a struggle to get stuff here. So they were affected, their cash flow and everything else. He then approached the bank for $600,000 loan. Is that a crime? Is that illegal? What is wrong with a Grenadian approaching the bank for a loan? In fact, Andy was not yet a minister of government. He was not elected as yet, but he approached the bank because that's the bank he does business with. His loan was approved for $600,000 by this administration and this board through the Grenada Development Bank, right? Nothing is wrong with that. The reason why they gave him that loan and the one before is because they realized that he could pay back. Not only that, he had enough assets to cover the loans. But Diablo and his party hawks and pundits are out there painting a picture as though Andy did something wrong or Andy is wrong to take a loan. And that's not the case. There is nothing illegal here. There is nothing wrong, nothing like that. But you see, the NNP is angry because Andy Williams did not run for them. They approached Andy Williams. Diablo met with Andy Williams. In fact, he met with Andy Williams, and about a week after, Youth for Change, under my leadership, met with Andy Williams, right? In a dinner engagement, because remember, we were having meetings, and then we were also having dinner engagements with key people within Grenada to make things happen, to make the thing come true. We had engagements with the young professionals, Deacon Mitchell and the team, Kijana, Romaine, Andrea, St. Bernard, and the whole works, the whole list of them. The young professionals, Youth for Change, engaged them. We engaged all of these people, all the different groups. So we engaged Andy Williams, and Andy made it very clear to us. He said, hey, Kem, boy, you know me and you're good. He said he met with Diablo. Diablo wanted him to run for him in the south of the island, and he told him he will get back to him, right? And that was the end of it. He never get back to him because we were able to engage him, and Andy said, boy, Kem Jones, let me tell you the truth. And you know how he normally laugh. He said, let me tell you the truth. Boy, the NNP values and belief and everything else do not conform with his values and his belief. He can't be a part of the NNP. Straight up. Right? And I said to him, my brother, welcome home. So we have been meeting, Kireen James was a part of this, Youth for Change, Tevin Andrews, Ron Redhead, just name it. And I'm so happy that Youth for Change was able to intervene in such a way that really made an impact. And some people were asking, coming to the latter part of the meetings, why they were not seeing a particular person who now seemed to be off on a rant or a tangent, right, with Youth for Change. But in the latter part of our movement, we made it very clear that no one was bigger than anybody. No one is a superstar within Youth for Change, right? And we were not interested in hearsay and gossip. And we made that very clear. The minute time we started making that clear to say we are not interested in hearsay and gossip, and no one is above anybody. If you are not there, we will continue to have our meetings. We will continue to engage the Grenadian people. Then you realize that particular individual was not present of some of the latter meetings, the meetings in the, coming to the end, the tail end of the engagements, right? But we made it very clear. But Youth for Change was integral in shaping what we have today, this democracy, the team that we have today. And I am really, really proud. In fact, anytime I reflect on that, it makes me feel good, because while you had a lot of people who were not doing stuff, they were afraid. They were not stepping forward to do stuff, to make the change happen. We were able to do that with the little resources I was able to get from key people, home and abroad, which is really, really good. if you ask me. Excellent. Bravo. So again, they wanted Andy to run for them. They wanted Andy to run in the South. So they are existing in regrets. They're angry. So they're going after Andy Williams with all kinds of scandals, all kinds of false information, all kinds of lies, all kinds of propaganda. They're angry because he did not go with them. He did not support them. He did not join them. I know that personally. So I know why they're going after him. And they have the facts. They know what they're saying is not true. They know that. Right? Diablo and all his pundits, goons, surrogates, and sycophants, and zygotes, all of them they know. They have it right before them, the facts. But they still continue to push that narrative because they remembered vividly what they did to Nazem Burke. So they tried that again. But no one stood up for Nazem Burke when they were attacking him over and over and over again. But we are here to stand up for Andy Williams and to defend Andy Williams. So they are dealing with something totally different. Totally different. That is what they're dealing with. They're dealing with people like Kem Jones and the others on social media and so on who are ready to fight, right? Not physically, but put out the facts and correct them when they put out the misinformation. We are ready to defend the Honorable Andy Williams. It's just a whole different ball game. It's just totally different. During 2008 and 2013, no one was out here fighting this fight. It was just NNP running all around the place on all radio stations, all TV stations, social media. They dominated that. But this time wrong, they still have to deal with Kem Jones and the fans. And they still have to deal with the social media activists who continue to defend this transformation agenda. So you're dealing with a group of people who want Grenada to move forward and who will defend at all costs the good things that are happening in this country. And anytime they attack any one of those members of parliament, we will stand up with them. Look, for example, I stood firmly with the Honorable Delma Thomas, and I continue to stand with her because they're going after our head. In fact, they were not successful, and they have not been successful so far. If Kem Jones did not stand up, and if other people did not stand up and say, look, this lady's politics is a good politics, where she's saying it's about Grenada, it's time to put aside the bitterness, the tribal politics, the divisive politics, and pull together and build country and community and build Grenada. Grenada belongs to us, right? And team up to build community and build country. That's good politics. And we come out plainly from day one. And I said, this is good politics. And when they attack her over and over, I defended her. And I will continue to do so. I will continue to. In fact, when I started to defend her, there were some people who I know, they believe that they understand politics. And they believe that they have a monopoly on ideas. And who is Kem Jones to come out and defend this lady? Because remember, I started defending her way before. Because I have a knack to red flag good things and things that would advance our cause or causes. I have a knack for that. I understand the politics to a T. I don't boast and brag and try to push up and play thing. Kem Jones, I have been there, done that, and my record will show. All right, it's a different ball game. And then they attack me. They say, "Oh, Kem Jones, and you're this and you're that." But you know me, I'm frank. I'm straight up. But now a lot of them say about Kem Jones. In truth, you're right. You were able to red flag this thing from day one. And I told you what the NNP will do to the Honorable Delma Thomas and their strategies and everything. But so far, we were able to push back against it. So far, she's still standing firmly, which is great. So I am saying it is clear. Grenada must come first. And we must defend all the people who are putting Grenada first and who are a part of the transformational agenda, who want good to come for the people of this country. And we should never, ever back down. There is no way of me and you backing down. This thing is too big for one person or two or three to mess it up. You know, I say to friends, they say, oh, Kem Jones, you ain't hear this person on some social media platform cussing NDC and cussing this and I say, that? I say, that's insignificant in the scheme of things. I said, who in their right mind would believe and follow a person, one person, to cause them to change their mind about the transformation agenda and about moving Grenada forward? So one person could be on social media blabbering all day, all night. Insignificant. Insignificant. I tell people, for example, there was a time I blocked Mosquito Man. There's a period of time in the lead up to the election and months and so on. I block him. And eventually, you know, after election, we met and we talked and I kind of ease him up because his thinking was not in line with the NDC's thinking, right? And when you listen to him, he just was not coherent. Just didn't know what he was talking about. For example, the guy was all over the place, you know, security guy and working with security, and he was just talking rubbish over and over and over. So when I hear people say, well, he running him out and the next person on social media, every 5 words she uses obscene language, I just laugh because I say to myself, that's insignificant. That's like nothing. Because the minute time you think about Keith Mitchell and NMP coming back, all these people, you just, they move out of your memory. It's about the bigger picture, right? It's about the bigger picture. And I am saying to you, let's focus on the bigger picture as we move forward. Just don't listen to some of their rant and some of their programs and so on, whatever they're doing. There are some people, you just don't tune in. You don't want to hear. You know, people tell me, you want to hear what the girls say? I say, what she say? I say, by the time they open up, I say, I don't want to hear. I say, I am not a part of any friend thing on Facebook. I don't want to see. And Mosquito Man and one, oh, you know, it's just nonsense. I don't want to hear them or see. Because the agenda is too big for us to be engaging in these petty things and these small people believing that they are relevant and that they could cost everybody and make all kind of melee on social media. After a while, very few people will even listen to what they have to say. It's like you're burning all bridges, right? It's like you're cussing everybody. And if somebody on this live say something, right, and the last time wrong, somebody screenshot it and sent it for a person, and that became that person talking point on their platform, cussing everybody and cussing everybody. You understand the point? Where the person say, well, you know, a thank you could be good enough, you know, stupid, you know, not anything. Yeah. So I am saying, folks, the agenda is too big for us to worry about these small fries. You understand the point? It's like you have all this titiri in a bucket, but you're trying to clean the titiri in the bucket and you happen to throw 2 or 3. You're worrying about that? You have a whole bucket of titiri or a whole bucket of jacks or a whole bucket of fish or a whole bucket of whatever. You don't worry about this a little 1, 2. Let them talk. Don't listen. Don't tune in. Don't view. You don't want to hear. You don't want to see. You don't want to nothing. And isolate them. And they will feel extremely bad. Right? And because some of these people don't understand the politics. The people who used to listen to them were people who wanted change. Yes. The people who wanted change. It's simple like that. So the minute time we get change, then it's about defending the government and promoting the government. The minute time you decide not to do that, the minute time you decide to attack or go and run your mouth or bad talk, then the people then would move away from you. That's common sense. It's common sense because people fought for so long to get rid of Diablo and the NNP. People have been out here victimized and taken advantage of for years. You think easy for the last 10 years. And we can even go back as far as 2000, let's say as far as 1995. From 1995 to this point, because NDC came into power in 2008 and it didn't last long. So people were praying and hoping for a strong team of men and women who are focused, who understand how to transform, how to move Grenada forward, to really come on the scene and remove Keith Mitchell and remain there permanently so. Remain there for a long time because we want to see an NDC in power for the next 15 to 20 years. You understand the point? That is what we want to see. And we are fighting for that every single day. So we will not make one or two people come and talk rubbish or stupidness on some social media nonsense, right? Believing that they will be able to change the scheme of things. No, rubbish. You know, I say to people, I block that and block that and block them off long. That's how I operate. I just block them off. I don't want to see or hear anything about it. Insignificant. Grenada, the bigger picture. And that's how I function. That's how Kem Jones operates. I just block them. I don't want block on Facebook, block on everywhere. Right? In fact, I was looking for Mosquito Man, you know, under the live just to block him off and block off whoever I become, block off the rest. Just block them off. Because it's the bigger picture. I don't want to know what they're talking about, what they're discussing. The numbers continue to fall. When they are doing a program, they barely getting 100 people to follow them. And the people go in there because they're curious. And once they get to realize what they're pushing, they're not going back. And that is how we have to start, acting, right? We have to start doing those things. You don't want to see, you don't want to hear. Let them continue to rant and rant and rant in their little, cocoon, in their little space, right? That is what you have to do. So you have to remain focused. It's a bigger picture. I feel good seeing what is happening in the country. I'm not happy with everything. I will never be happy with everything because it's not a perfect government. We will never have a perfect government in Grenada, right? But I'm happy with 99.9% of what is happening in the country. I'm telling you. So let's talk about that, right? And there is place, in other words, it's not what you see, but it's how you see what you see and where you see what you see. Time is very important. I learned that many, many years in Guyana. A businessman said to me, Kem Jones, is not what you see, but how you see what you see and when you see what you see. All right? That's important. That's very, very key. Timing is important. So you go there and you rant, and then a person who's a business owner who wants to hire you, then say, but wait, I would not hire that person because that person may leak my confidential information. I will not hire that person because that person might go on a rant and cost customers. I would not hire that person because that person is enemy to everybody. I would not hire that person because that person is petty with nearly every single thing. You see? So you have to understand. Understand what's going down. Very important. Understand what is taking place. And it's always something that you know, because you're looking down the road. You're looking long term. You're looking medium term. Very, very important. So I'm saying you want to be employed down the road. You want to be employable. So you're not just going out there and just rant and cuss and this and no. Gotta calm yourself down. You may not get everything in the first year, but maybe the second year, the third year. Calm yourself down. All right? Folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And I hope you can join me tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m. I wish you all the best. All right? Bye for now. Take good care and bye for now. Let me just please this year to wrap it all up.
The proceeding was a paid program. The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests of this program and not the views of this radio station.